Every game begins the same way.
Birdland, attention. Mike Elias' pitching plan might be at risk. We've discovered the dream ace isn't the only target, and the name flying under the radar is a key stability piece you're not seeing. If the O's don't move fast, this golden chance could vanish. Want to know the name right now and why he's crucial for our title? Subscribe to the channel and get the deepest analysis before the news breaks. Hit that subscribe button. It's a pleasure to be back, Birdland. For those who live and breathe the Baltimore Orioles like I do, every day without a pitch thrown at Camden Yards is a day we spend analyzing and planning the future of our franchise. The passion that unites us, the energy of shouting "Oh" during the national anthem, is what drives us. That's why before we dive deep into the latest insider information we've prepared for you, I have one request. Subscribe to the channel now. It's quick, it's easy, and it's your guarantee of receiving the fastest and most in-depth analyses of the O's, with a distinct, objective, and true perspective from someone who intensely lives the team's daily grind. My information comes from reliable sources, is cross-referenced with recent statistics, and brings the professional insight our fan base deserves. Baltimore Orioles President of Baseball Operations, Mike Elias, has been crystal clear. The front office intends to add an ace-caliber starting pitcher in free agency or via trade this offseason. This is music to the ears of us Birds fans, as we know that, despite the young and explosive talent on our roster, the pitching rotation needs a reliable anchor to transform the team into a genuine title contender. However, the franchise's recent history shows a certain reluctance to pay the astronomical contracts of baseball's top free agents. High-impact names like Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, and Michael King are indeed appealing targets, and the Orioles certainly have the talent base to make a bold trade for one of them. But, pragmatically, the front office may be more inclined to pursue average but solid players with growth potential, and crucially, who fit into a broader, more sustainable roster strategy. This is where a specific name, who isn't a headliner, enters the conversation. Right-handed pitcher Zack Latell. At 30, Latell is set to become a free agent after a 2025 season split between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Cincinnati Reds. His recent trajectory is the very definition of quiet reliability. He was traded to the Reds at the trade deadline and up to that point had produced a respectable 3.58 ERA in 22 appearances for the division rival Rays. In Cincinnati, his numbers slightly regressed, but he still remained solid, with a 2-0 record and a 4.39 ERA in 10 appearances. More than that, Latell demonstrated the grit and experience we're looking for, even starting a game against the Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League wildcard round. That experience in high-pressure games is an asset we cannot overlook. Latell's impact on the rotation, while not that of an ace, is that of a pitcher who consistently delivers quality innings and keeps the team in the game. The insider analysis suggests the front office values this type of stability to complement the youth of pitchers like Grayson Rodriguez and Kyle Bradish. The veteran analyst Rach Kubatko of MASN, who has a track record of accurate insider information about the O's, addressed this possibility in his latest article on October 7th, responding to fan questions. One fan specifically raised the question about Latell, praising his solidity with the Rays in recent seasons and suggesting him as a solid choice. Kubatko's response is surgical and reflects what appears to be the thinking in the team's offices. Latell would be solid. He'd be fine. But let him be the other guy acquired over the winter. That is the key to our analysis. The signing of Latell by itself wouldn't solve the ace problem and, let's be honest, could generate some dissatisfaction in Birdland, which craves a big-name signing. However, Latell fits perfectly as a luxury complementary piece. He is a player who, according to projections like Spotrac, could sign a 5-year, $59 million contract, a significant amount, but one that still represents a lower risk than the mega contracts of elite free agents. The reality is that, for an off-season to be considered a success in overhauling the rotation, the Orioles need two significant additions. The first, undeniably, must be a pitcher with a higher ceiling than Latell, the ace, or at the very least, a front-end starter. The second addition, and this is where Latell shines, should be an experienced, reliable pitcher with a proven track record of health, who can stabilize the bottom half of the rotation. Latell has been one of the most reliable starting pitchers in MLB in terms of consistent production in recent seasons. Acquiring Latell would be a firm step toward a deeper rotation that is less dependent on young pitchers still developing. If the front office can secure an ace and Latell as a supporting piece, the Birds will be in an enviable position on opening day 2026. The pursuit of a crack pitcher remains the primary target, as reported by multiple sources, but it is the strategy of depth that can be decisive. It's not just about flash, it's about sustainability over 162 games. Stay tuned, as the action behind the scenes is just beginning. The potential addition of Zack Latell to the Baltimore Orioles cannot be viewed in isolation. It is part of a larger architecture that Mike Elias and his team are building to ensure that the Birds not only reach the playoffs, but are also capable of withstanding the regular season marathon and having rested and reliable pitchers for the postseason. When we talk about adding an ace, we are targeting a player who absorbs around 180 to 200 innings with an elite ERA. But what happens with rotation spots 3, 4, and 5? This is where Latell's solidity becomes a strategic asset, and it is a point that needs to be understood by every member of Birdland who dreams of a title. Latell, with his track record of solid pitching, represents a high-performance floor for the rotation. He is not an ace, but he consistently pitches better than what is expected from a mid-to-back rotation starter. Having a player with his profile means that talented young pitchers like Grayson Rodriguez can breathe a little easier, without the pressure of being the sole hope for stability. It means that Kyle Bradish and Dean Kremer can focus on refining their skills, knowing there is a proven veteran right behind them. Depth is what separates good teams from championship teams. How many times have we seen talented teams collapse in September, or the playoffs due to a lack of healthy and effective pitchers? The acquisition of Latell, combined with an elite pitcher, offers an essential safety net. Furthermore, Latell's ability to be traded to the Reds and immediately become a useful piece, even starting in the wild card, demonstrates his adaptability and the resilience we seek. Analyzing the spot rack projection, the 5-year, $59 million contract suggests an average annual value of around $11.8 million. By market standards for pitching, this is a reasonable value for a proven starter. In the financial context of the Orioles, who have a relatively low payroll, this type of investment is smart and sustainable. It allows the front office to maintain focus on signing contract extensions with the young core of talent already on the roster, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, etc., and still have capital to pursue the big name for the rotation. If the team had to spend $30 million or more per year on a single elite pitcher, the space for these mid-rotation additions would be compromised. Latell represents resource optimization. He fills a critical need with an investment proportional to his performance and ceiling, freeing up funds and flexibility for the acquisition of an ace. Another point that needs to be evaluated is the behind-the-scenes impact. The arrival of a veteran like Latell, who has spent time in successful organizations like the Rays, brings with it a valuable culture of work and preparation. He can serve as a mentor for the young Birds pitchers, imparting the mentality of consistency and the routine necessary for success in Major League Baseball. It's not just about the on-field statistics, it's about the influence in the clubhouse. Roch Kubatko was right to say he isn't the big name the fans expect, but he is the kind of player a serious and ambitious team needs for structure. The Orioles management knows that building a championship team is like assembling a puzzle. You need all the pieces, big and small, fitted perfectly. Latell is a small piece in terms of status, but huge in terms of practical and structural impact. The aggressive pursuit continues, but the strategy of having the other guy secured is a demonstration of high-level planning. This is the cold, calculated analysis we do here. Birdland. The excitement of the "oh" shout must be accompanied by reason in the front office decisions. The strategy of adding a solid pitcher like Zack Latell is commendable for its pursuit of depth. But, as Kubatko rightly pointed out, he must be the other guy. This inevitably brings us to the core of the Orioles offseason. The pressing need to sign or trade for an elite starting pitcher. The patience shown by the front office in recent years, focused on internal development, has paid off with the rise of the most exciting roster in baseball. Now, however, is the time to open the wallet and be aggressive. The window of opportunity with this young, talented core is open, and wasting it due to fiscal caution would be a historic strategic mistake. This offseason's free agency offers a range of top names, but the competition will be fierce. The O's cannot afford to be outbid by teams with a greater willingness to spend, especially in the American League East, the most competitive division in baseball. The move for Latell, if it materializes, should be viewed as the depth plan B, never the rotation leadership plan A. Plan A requires the front office to set a new standard for spending on free agents. The market perception is that while Baltimore has the capital and talent for trades, the willingness to financially commit long-term to elite contracts is still a question mark. It is this question mark that Mike Elias needs to remove with decisive action, whether through trade, involving high-value prospects like Heston Kjerstad or Samuel Basallo, or a pitcher under contract control like Shane Bieber, if available and healthy, or Tyler Glasnow, who may become a free agent, or by investing heavily in names like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, if he comes to MLB, or Blake Snell, the Cy Young seeking a massive contract. The Birds need to make a game-changing move. The presence of an ace pitcher not only improves the chances of winning every 5 days, but also has a psychological and legitimacy effect on the rest of the roster. It sends the message that the front office is as committed to winning as the players on the field. This is the mindset of a team aiming for the World Series, not just the playoffs. The acquisition of Latell, therefore, must be analyzed as an indicator. If he is the only major move for the rotation, it will be a strategic failure. If he is the second move, after a major ace, it will be a resounding success of roster planning. The difference is ambition. The value of a player like Latell is undeniable. He eats innings, he stabilizes. But the value of a Dylan Cease or a Michael King is that of changing the team's ceiling. It's about giving manager Brandon Hyde a pitcher he blindly trusts in Game 1 of a playoff series. The Orioles faithful deserve to see the front office take the final step. The foundation is built, the pillars are in place. Now, it's time to put on the championship roof. This is the pressure, and this is the expectation. Our sources indicate that the front office is aware of this, and the monitoring of multiple targets, from the most expensive to the most tactical, is constant. The 2025-2026 offseason will define whether this generation of Birds talent will become a dynasty or just an unfulfilled potential playoff team. The main news we brought today, Birdland, is that right-handed pitcher Zack Latell is internally viewed as a solid, under-the-radar target in free agency, capable of bringing the necessary stability and depth to the Orioles' rotation. The analysis is clear. Latell, with his respectable ERA history and experience, would be a luxury complementary piece. Ideal for the second starting pitcher spot the Birds need to add this offseason. However, and this is the crucial point, he cannot be the only major move. The pursuit of an ace pitcher, a front-end starter with a high ceiling, remains the #1 and irrefutable priority for Mike Elias's front office. The success of the offseason will be measured by the combination of a big name with a tactical depth acquisition like Latell. It's time to hear the voice of the fans. What would be the best strategy for the next games or trade windows? Do you prefer to see the Orioles front office being more aggressive and putting all their chips on a single elite ace, even if it means less depth? Or is the path of the double acquisition, an ace and a solid player like Latell, the safest and smartest for the franchise's sustainability? Leave your opinions, your plans, and your expectations in the comments below. What name do you want to see alongside the O Shout next season? Your passion fuels our channel and the analysis we provide. To continue receiving the most exclusive, in-depth analyses and daily updates about the Baltimore Orioles, with the seriousness and reliability you expect. The action is simple. Like this video, comment your opinions, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Be a part of Orioles Fan Central, where the passion is real and the analysis is professional. We'll be back soon with more insider news.